Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time of watching my video, this is Reggie School of Fashion. In today's video, I will be showing you how to make a trending keyhole neckline which can be applied on wedding dresses, owambe and Aso-Ebi dresses. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing so that you won't miss any update from this channel whenever I drop a new video. And to my subscribers, I say thank you for stopping by to have another wonderful experience with me. Without further ado, let's dive into the video. In drafting a keyhole neckline, I will start by drawing a borderline on my fresh pattern paper. So this line is going to be our starting point. Also, I will be needing a basic bodice block. So if you don't know how to draft a basic bodice block, or you are not sure if you are drafting it in the right way, I have a full video well detailed on how to draft a basic bodice block. They are in 3 parts, parts 1, 2 to 3. Very detailed video which I mentioned how to plot your darts properly on your bodice, how to separate the front armhole from the back armhole. The links to the videos will be available in the description box under this video. So I'll be transferring from the shoulder line and stops on the bust level. Now I've transferred my basic bodice block on a fresh pattern paper, as you can see, and I transferred the pattern in 2 places. This is the first pattern and this is the second pattern, and because of the design of the keyhole we are making, we'll be making use of 2 different patterns. You can see the second pattern stops on the chest level, while this first pattern is the main bodice I will be using. So if you are creating a keyhole neckline, this first pattern will be your main bodice. That is the style you are constructing, while this other one will be like a yoke, which we will be using in creating the keyhole. I stopped the first pattern somewhere below the bust point. This is the bust point and this is the point I stopped the pattern, purposely because of this tutorial. But when you are making yours, the first pattern should be your main bodice, which is the style you are constructing, and the length will be your desired dress length or top length. So the next step is to create a neckline on my main bodice. As I've labeled it, this is the main bodice and this is the yoke. So I'll be creating a neckline on the main bodice, and the neckline depth will stop on the chest level. So at this point, you can create any neckline of your choice on the main bodice, which can be a scoop neckline, it can be a round neckline, it can be a V neckline, it can be a square neckline, and it can be a sweetheart neckline. So if you don't know how to draft a sweetheart neckline, or you would like to learn how to make a sweetheart neckline, I have a video, well detailed video on how to draft a sweetheart neckline separately, and another video on how to make a sweetheart neckline with yoke. The link to the videos are available in the description box under this video. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I will be creating a scoop neckline on the main bodice. Scoop neckline is like a U-shaped neckline. So this is different from round neckline. This is the basic neckline I have on my pattern. I will cross this out. It's no more in use. Then I will insert my neckline width. So the neckline width I'm using is 5 inches. I already have 3 inches for my basic neckline, so I will be adding 2 inches along the shoulder slope. So which means from this point to this point is 5 inches. Then as I said earlier, my neckline depth will stop on the chest level. So I will come to the chest level and insert 5 inches as well. Okay, then I will get the midpoint of this angle. which is here. Then I will make it a straight line. Then on this line, I will measure 1 inch. I can make it 1 inch. I can make it 2 inches. I usually give you varieties of values you can use so that you'll be creative on your own. There is no rule that guides how you do your things. It depends on your preference, on what you are trying to achieve. So that is why I usually give you varieties of values you can use. So on this line, I can measure 2 inches. I can measure 1.5 inches. I can measure 3 inches. But this has to do with how deep I want my scoop neckline to be. If I want it very deep, I will use 1 inch. If I don't want it to be as deep as that, I will increase the number. So the higher the number, the deeper I reduce the neckline. So which means if the number I measured here is high, the neckline will not be too deep. But if I measured a very small value here, the neckline will be very deep. So that is the difference. So here I will be making use of 2 inches. So this is a 2 inches point. Then I will connect to construct my neckline. So don't forget, this is the center front of the pattern. So with this, I will have something like a U shape. Can you see the shape already? It's giving me a curve like U at the bottom. So you can create any neckline of your choice. There is no rule that guides how you construct your keyhole neckline. So you can make this a square neckline, as I said earlier. You can make it a V neckline. You can make it a round neckline, and you can make it a sweetheart neckline. So you can make this any neckline of your choice. Now we are done with construction of the neckline. Then I can cut out the pattern before moving to the yoke. Okay, so I'll cut out the neckline. So now I'll be working on the yoke. On this yoke, I'll be having 2 levels of neckline. So the first level will be constructed along the basic neckline I have, and this is not going to be too deep. So this neckline is advisable to be high. So you can make it a canoe neckline, and you can make it a round neckline. So the 2 necklines works for the yoke for the first level of the neckline. But you have to have it in mind that whatever you use as the neck width has to be the same with the one you have on your main bodice. When I was drafting this, I used 5 inches as my neckline width. So I will be using the same 5 inches as my neckline width on the yoke, because the shoulder line has to align. It has to be the same thing. So for this reason, I will be adding 2 inches to the neckline width I have on the yoke. And I will maintain the 3 inches as the neckline depth. So I'm creating a round neckline. So I want to be making a round neckline, and I want it to be a perfect round neckline. Okay. So I'm getting the midpoint of the angle. Then on this line, I will come in by 1 inch, then create my round neckline. Okay, so I will be erasing the basic neckline so that you don't get confused at any point. Okay, so this is my new neckline on the yoke, and this is the first neckline, the first level neckline. Then I will proceed in creating the second level neckline. The second level neckline will be created on the chest level. So this is the point where the keyhole comes in. Now look at the main body. This is the main bodice. So this is the shoulder line I have here. This is the center front. This is the center front for the main bodies. So this is center front. So this is the neckline for the main bodies. The neckline depth for the main body stops on the chest level, while the yoke also stops on the chest level. So now I'll be subtracting from the length of the yoke. So this now has to do with how much you want the hole to open. Keyhole, which means we want to create a hole on our neckline. So whatever you take as measurement from the chest level, so that is the chest level on the yoke, upward determines how much hole, how much opening you will have in between your necklines. So that is just the idea. So you can come up as much as 3 inches. You can come up as much as 1 inch. I usually tell you this so that you will be creative on your own. It is not the matter of copying and paste. So it's not the matter of copying and paste, it's the matter of you creative on your own. You can emulate a style and also bring out your own style from the particular style. So from the chest level, so this is the length of the yoke, the chest level. So I will be coming up by 2 inches. So for the sake of the tutorial, I'm using 2 inches point. If you want it wider, so if you want the hole in between your necklines wider than this, so you can add to this 2 inches. You can bring it up by 3 inches or 3.5 inches. Then if you want it more narrow, don't want it to be as open as this, you can reduce this measurement to 1.5 or 1 inch. But the minimum you can use to bring out the beauty of the design is 1 inch. Anything below 1 inch will not come out well. So this is the point. Now the next step is to create the second level neckline. As I said earlier, this is the first level neckline, and this, with this point, this measurement, I'll be creating the second level neckline. Also, this neckline can be any shape of your choice. It can be any shape of your choice, but I will advise you have the exact picture you want to achieve before drafting your pattern. So it is not the matter of at the middle of drafting, okay, you will now decide, okay, I want to make this, I want to make that. just have the picture in mind. This is what I want. This is how I want my keyhole design to look like. But as for me, I already have the mental picture of how I want my keyhole neckline design to look like in my head. So that was why I created the first neckline, the one I have on my main bodice, as the U neckline. So this U neckline is like opening a pot. Can you see it? And I want this to be like the cover that will cover up the pot. So that is the design I have in my head. So for this reason, this has opened up, this curve comes down, so this will come up. So this will come up to cover up this opening. So when I place the two on each other like so, whatever neckline you are creating on the main bodice and yoke must have a story to tell. It is not the matter of just creating a neckline. You want to have a round neckline and V neckline together, or you want to have a combination of Kano neck and sweetheart neckline. They must have a story they are passing across. It is not the matter of just making a neckline. Just as I said, the story behind my keyhole neckline is making the main bodice neckline a pot, and the yoke will be the cover to cover up the pot. Okay, so I'll be creating my shape along this side. So whatever I draft here is the final look of my keyhole neckline. So I'll be sketching this first with my free hand before shaping it out with my ruler. Okay, so this is not coming to the chest level, so please take note of this. You have to come up with 1 inch from the armhole depth by the side. So just measure 1 inch forward. So whatever shape you are creating should stop before the armhole depth point, which is the armhole point here. So I'm not bringing my drafting to this point, but above the point. And of course, if I don't want it to be a curve, I can make it a straight line. Yeah, I can decide to make it a straight line and rule it out with my straight ruler. So this is a straight line, but I don't want it to be a straight line. I want to have a curve. Okay, I think I'm good with this shape. So I'm good with this shape. Okay, then I'll blend it up with my curve ruler so you guys can see it clearly. Okay, can you see? So this is the shape I'll be having for my keyhole design. Then I'll take my tracing wheel and transfer this on my yoke. So the part of the shape that falls on the main bodice is what I'm transferring on my yoke pattern. Okay, I'm good now. Then I can remove the main bodice pattern. Okay, so this is what I have for my shape. Then from the center front, don't forget this is the center front, I'll be making like 1 inch from the center front forward, a straight line, so that I don't have a pointed center. Okay, so the pattern is ready, so I can cut out the yoke. I will be cutting out the yoke and I will start with the first level neckline. Now I'm cutting on the chest level, so that is the chest line. So the 1 inch point I measured upward on the armhole, so this is the point. So I will bring it down with a straight ruler, like so. So from the straight line, I will be cutting out my second neckline shape. Can you see? So instead of cutting all through to the armhole depth point, I stopped 1 inch before the chest level. So this will help the yoke to overlap properly on the main bodice. Okay, then I'll cut out the remaining parts of the armhole. Okay, so this is what I have. So this is the yoke, as you can see, and this is the main bodice. So after overlapping the two, this is what I will have. The shoulder line aligning together, and this is one side of the neckline. So I'll be cutting this out on my fabric and also cut out lining to finish the necklines, and I will pin it on my mannequin for you to see how beautiful the keyhole neckline looks. And I will also cut out the lining. So this is the main bodice. As you can see, this is the neckline, this is the lining. So I'll be finishing the neckline with the lining. Can you see? So this is the main bodice and this is the yoke. So I will construct the yoke separately, then the bodice separately, and this will overlap on this. Can you see what we have and how beautiful it looks? So the shoulder lines must align like so. Can you see? And this is the hole I have in between. Can you see? So after stitching, you know, I have this with my seam allowance, that is why it is not open, it is narrow. So after finishing the necklines, it will be more open than this. I will be stitching this off the camera and I will be back to show you the final result on my mannequin. So guys, that will be all on how to make a keyhole neckline. I encourage you to try yours and share your experience with me in the comment section. Feel free to ask any question as regards this video and I will be glad to attend to them all. Till we meet next time when I will be dropping a new tutorial, always remember, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the